Hello guys, welcome back to the Big Screen Show. My name is Victor.
I'm Alex.
And we're back bringing you guys another movie review. This time, a movie called Saltburn. This one was kind of a low-key sleeper. I feel like, at least in the box office, I feel like it probably won't perform that well, at least not on some, everybody knows about this movie level type thing. But if you're one of what I believe to be probably the few that did go see, even though it has a big name, Jacob Elordi, that could probably attract some good amount of people.
And Barry Keoghan, or however you pronounce his last name.
Yes, and that as well. So honestly, if you are one of the people who watched it, then you probably know how this goes. This movie was super solid. So to start this video off, I want to do some general thoughts. I'll go first. I love this movie, and it was completely out of left field for me personally because I didn't watch a trailer. I didn't, literally, I just saw it come up in the AMC app, and we were like, hey, another movie, let's go watch it, and I was like, cool beans, sounds good to me, Jacob Elordi, like him, so I was like, down, and then we get put into this world where I'm just like, you're giving me nothing but enough to keep me intrigued as it goes on over time, Yeah. And also being told in such an artistic way, which we've referred to in past videos that we love so much, with the cinematography and just the color grading and the world it's building is, and the way it's telling the story, it's super artsy. There's just no other way to really describe it, and all that combined made for actually a super solid movie, with a quite surprising ending and plot as a whole, really, which we'll dive deep in a little bit. But yeah, for me, I truly enjoyed my time watching this movie, and I'd have to give my rating a solid 8 out of 10. High 8, 8.85, but nonetheless still an 8. We don't do points over here. But Alex, what about you?
Yeah, as you said, this movie was a complete wild trip. Because, even though you said you never saw the trailers, I've seen the trailer, and, I literally could not tell you, anything about what the plot really is. So,
right.
It's, leaves everything so vague, but gives, misty, weird, psychosexual vibes, where you're kind of thinking, hey, it's, a good home visit to a friend, but kind of gets, maybe it's, some debauchery, some drugs, and things like that.
Right.
But, no, the plot is more than just that. The plot just completely leaves you just baffled from beginning to end.
Right.
And even that, I think part of what you said for the opening, for it kind of keeps you intrigued, I think it helps because it's the camera work of how it's visually representing it to you in this angle, some perspective wise.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, cinematography, as well as how the camera kind of shows everything, or kind of give you this kind of voyeuristic approach in an artsy fashion that, as you said, we love. It really unsettles you, but in a really intriguing way. What am I watching? It's so crazy, but I can't look away.
Right.
And that just adds even more to the effect of the actual performances, which were stellar.
Yeah.
Especially by Barry Keoghan alone, who basically just makes the whole film, and how it just gives you this whole weird kind of feeling about this dude, and yet everything else around him feels like this type of thing where it gives different perspective from high society rich people, and more the lower class things in a weird kind of entertaining way, but also kind of mocking, but again voyeuristic from its approach and how things get weird in the actual setting for the title of the film, which honestly it's a real vibe to the whole entire thing. So
definitely,
yeah. Because honestly, on top of the cinematography, including the pretty interesting writing for how it's used, along with the camera, and then a stellar performances by everyone in the cast, Keoghan most includedly, I definitely gonna give this movie a 10 out of 10 from beginning to end. Because everything into the middle, including the crazy ending, just shows how the movie was it's a ride that's never ending until the movie's finally over. So 10 out of 10 for me. It was amazing.
Masterpiece.
Yes.
Man. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Alex believes Saltburn is a masterpiece. And I'm not mad at it. Honestly, it's so solid. But we're going to dive deep right now. So if you have not seen the movie yet, this is this is it. This is time for you to click off the video if you don't want it spoiled, because we're about to get into spoiler territory. But this is your spoiler warning. And again, if you guys like videos like this, we try to bring you guys videos like this at least once a week, sometimes more. So if you like videos like this, please make sure to subscribe. And if you like this video, please make sure to let us know by hitting that thumbs up button down there, because it really does help us out. Now, diving deep into this, man, this plot is so crazy. And I think what makes it all the more wild is the characters and how they were written. You know, like Jacob Elordi's character comes off as some really cool guy. Not to say he wasn't, but to have such an impending doom at the end is so crazy.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah, the dude really paints it as like this charming, friendly type of dude who's like all inclusive and things like that. Just someone you just want to party with, hang out with all the time.
Right.
But then as you get into like his world with like his family, rich society, stuff like that, you kind of see how like it's kind of split. Like, how is someone like this so good? But then everyone on his side of the family is pretty kind of like, it kind of seems like ego, narcissistic wise with their social status.
They're pretty messed up. Yeah, definitely. And the movie keeps a good balance of showing you like both sides of that coin, for sure. And honestly, this movie reminded me a lot about Nope, but backwards in a way. Like in Nope, it's like I'm sorry,
Get Out, you mean?
Get Out.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean Get Out. But it was almost like a backwards Get Out, you know, where it's like, not actually, but it gave me similar vibes, at least for a while, because again, I didn't know anything. I thought it was going towards Get Out territory.
No, yeah, because it kind of starts with Barry Keoghan's character Oliver goes to the family home of his new friend Felix,
Exactly.
into like this weird group of people in society, and you kind of think like, what kind of message is going to get into that's probably going to lead to like some crazy stuff happening where he literally has to like flee from the place.
Exactly.
And lead some like crazy weirdish cult type stuff or something like that.
Exactly. And you know, you know, that's kind of how I felt it was going, but it actually pulled a plot twist in a way, at least with the way I thought it was going, where instead of freaky things happening and him being like, you know, kind of like
Caught in the middle.
warned about that and having to have his back against the wall and wanting to flee, he almost kind of like indulged in it.
Yeah.
You know, or like fed it, or like played with it, or like, you know, just added to it even sometimes. Like just there's a bunch of weird shit going on, and he's also being weird.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think as far as like the weirdness, it's stuff that he kind of causes. Because like in the beginning of the movie, he kind of plays himself as like this kind of like nervous, bookish, lower class dude who just kind of gets thrown into these situations, but like it seems like has like a lucky enough chance to be friends with this cool and rich guy.
Mm-hmm.
And you think like, okay, he's innocent, you know, but he's probably gonna get corrupted or have like some type of trauma. But like, no, by the end of it, he's the one actually causing trauma or leaving people very unsettled, or
right.
at least very few people that he interacts with during his time in Saltburn.
Definitely. And I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of moments in that movie where you look at Oliver and you're just like, he's weird, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
definitely throwing up red flags himself, along with some of the things going on around him. And he observes a lot, which is it kind of gave him that creepy vibe, like kind of stalkerish vibe, because he'll be outside windows listening to conversations. He'll be looking at his own windows, seeing what people are doing and going to act on it and stuff, you know, where it's like, man, it gave you such a weird feeling the entire time. But like you said, Alex, like you just could not take your eyes off the screen, because the way it was portrayed, the way it was made, the way it was written, the way it was shot, basically pushed that emotion out of you. It's like, this is weird, but I'm forcing you to want to keep watching. And that, honestly, fair on the masterpiece rating, because that is very well done.
Yeah, because let's get to like the actual technical side of this, because like the camera work, how it goes, it's really feeding you into this like weirdly, almost kind of like sexual vibe for how it does angles and viewpoints.
Very, yeah.
Where it's like, it kind of makes it seems like so enticing, yet you're kind of getting unsettled. Like, it's like the camera in there is like trying to like kind of seduce you into this world as Oliver's kind of being seduced into this whole situation in Saltburn. Yet we're also kind of feeling the reverse way because we find out Oliver is a really twisted dude.
Yeah, definitely. And there's definitely some disturbing scenes, like after he lays on a tomb, and does some very weird things.
The scene, and he also did this weird scene in the bathtub too.
Yeah. So it's a lot of weird sexual energy, sexual activity going on. I mean, I guess weird to some, not weird to others, possibly. Who knows? I don't discriminate, but it's definitely an unsettling watch at times. But again, it's just made so well that I think it's super good. But in the end, we obviously gotta talk about it. Oliver was the mastermind in all of this, really.
Yeah, the dude literally made a persona of himself as this weird nerd, as this awkward, twisted weirdo. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all in all, even though like there was literally a scene where him and Felix literally went to like his family home, and he had lied to Felix earlier, saying how like his mom was like a recovering addict and his dad was like a drug dealer and a drunk, and he had supposedly died, but it turns out, but it turns out it was literally all a lie. His family is like the most normal people that you could meet, and yet somehow you have this normal couple family. And yet they have this guy Oliver, who just seems like just a sociopathic liar.
Yeah.
That's trying to create a persona for something but we don't know what real particular reason.
Yeah, that is funny. I didn't actually think about that, but you're right about that. That is funny. Hey, some batches are just bad batches, I guess.
Sometimes he gets lost in there.
Who knows? But yeah, and basically in the end, Oliver ends up controlling the estate, Saltburn, at Saltburn. Was the estate called Saltburn, or was that just the location of where they were? Like,
it was
city?
Like the location home. It's weird. I think it was mostly just like they're just estate home, really.
The estate, yeah. So,
I forget the last name.
But he ends up owning it, and he basically is the reason the entire family and anyone involved in the main part of the plot kills themselves or dies. And that's crazy, because again, I'm expecting him to be the one that's dead at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, a crazy plot twist I didn't see coming. I mean, I guess I started to see it coming near the end, but like throughout the majority, like 95% to 98% of the film, you don't see that coming.
Yeah, because I had no idea what was really going on through most of that as it was happening.
And you're just confused in general as you go through the movie. You're just kind of, things play out normally, but you are expecting this like big thing to come, and it never comes, and you're just kind of keep watching. It keeps you on your toes. So you're like, what's kind of really going on? And then boom, and then you're you're
yeah, because by the end of it, because I found out like Oliver had literally the whole entire plan was to literally befriend Felix and to basically become entrenched into like his whole family situation, and just basically take each of the family members out like one by one. Because like as we find out in later film, it was kind of fed to us later on, like after Felix dies, and Oliver does like his weird stuff at his grave and everything like that. Like his sister, Felix's sister Venetia, basically just calls Oliver like a moth to a flame, and basically said that like in the end you're killing us from the inside out. And then we found out how true that is, as we found out that she's dead in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Like with blood in the water,
razor
slips. But it was made to look that way. But
yeah, he fed her the razors.
Yeah, he's the one who probably cut her wrist and everything as she was doing it.
Yeah, man.
And I think it also goes a bit more into like class society, because clearly Oliver was like pretty much just like low class, just a normal dude, with like parents that
just
like,
average.
Yeah, regular pay, nothing too high society, but he clearly seems to have wanted more to end up on the top, because as he said to like Felix's dying mother, which he literally pulled the plug on, and he basically said like, I hate all of you. the whole royal, the whole nobility, social class, and high society, basically taking advantage of everything you have and not caring about anybody else.
Yeah.
So he basically sees himself as the one who's like, he seems the one who deserves all of it.
Yeah.
More than they could, and more than they ever would or ever could.
No, yeah, yeah, I totally agree. It's crazy that he pulled the plug on her, but in reality, he's the reason they all died. You know, so it's just crazy, man. Honestly, such a crazy movie. But going on to the technical side of things, I do have to say, I love this movie for it. You know me, I love all the technical sides of the movie, especially the cinematography. I think this movie was so perfectly made in that aspect. Honestly, I would have to rate the technical side of this movie a 10, to be honest. I mean, I think it's truly phenomenal, up there with some of the most creative and artsy movies, technically at least, of the year, really. But there were so many, like, really, so, even more than the cinematography, I might add the color grading on this. The color palette of this entire movie was amazing. Yeah. Honestly, I truly did enjoy it. But going back to the cinematography, there were just so many cool ways that they used of the camera work, with so many cool angles, like a lot of use of zoom, and I love that. It gave a lot of different types of perspectives, like when he Venetia was her name, the sister, was outside of the window, for example, and he was still upstairs in his room. It was like the shot where all three of them were in, but they were using the rule of thirds, which is basically when you line up a frame and you have you ever seen a camera with the lines? Yeah, and basically had Oliver in this third and Venetia in the window in this third, with the middle being completely just like the wall that's there. I love that because that's a great use of the rule of thirds. And there's just, other technical things like that I thought was done magnificently. And so as far as the technical side of this movie is concerned, I think it's honestly a masterpiece, truly. If you like technical side of movies like that, definitely go watch this movie for sure. I mean, go watch this movie regardless, but if you like, nerdy stuff like that about the movies, definitely watch this one. Do you have any thoughts on the technical side of this movie?
I think you summed it up perfectly, especially how I said how, like, basically the camera, the viewpoint for us as the viewers kind of feel like it's just kind of like enticing us and seducing us along with it.
And actually that shot that I just described is part of what you're talking about, really. It's giving you like a look at both of them in the same frame and kind of putting you in his head, because he's like seeing her, but you're also seeing him, and so you're also seeing her see him. So it invokes question, like, what's she doing out there? What's he doing looking at her out there? And what's she doing out there looking at him in here? And obviously we see how that plays out later on, but I think it's just storytelling through what the camera's doing on its own.
Yeah, through the whole visual perspective. Like, that's a smart way to use the camera, because like as you were saying that, it really makes things feel like more intimate and personal. Because like that's honestly what I love about this, because even though this movie was like probably like has a good major production behind it, because it was also made by MGM Studios, which is now owned by Amazon and everything else, it really does give like a whole indie film type of vibe.
Super indie. Oh, yeah.
And plus,
if I didn't know any better, I would think it was.
Yeah, because honestly, plus with how like so crazy this whole movie is, I'm actually surprised that it's not an A24 production, honestly.
Man, don't get me started on that point, because facts, yo.
Because this movie thing is definitely something that A24 would do.
I told you after the movie. I said, why didn't A24 pick this up? And two, if I didn't know any better, I would have definitely gone in there and have said, this is an A24 film. 100%.
For real.
For sure. And, that might be part of the reason why I love it so much, and why we love it so much, because we're huge A24 fans. So I think, maybe not a miscue by A24, but it's good to see other studios adapting that style and
taking that initiative
and kind of going through it. Yeah,
just get weird with it.
Yeah, just get weird with it. I love it. Yeah, and be weird with it in a very creative way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like how, again, this feels like a very original movie and it's not part of anything. But thing is, like, it's probably not going to do that much in the box office, which is kind of a shame, since,
it is a shame.
Since, we do get plenty of original movies, but, like, not many people are going out to go see them.
Yes.
Which is a huge shame, which, again, tells back to, like, people always complaining about, hey, we never get any original movies. We always got these things based off a franchise or remix, but, like, there are some rare gems of original movies coming out, like The Creator Alone, but, yeah.
Babylon last year, if you guys haven't seen that, please go do it. I think it was my favorite movie of last year. I didn't say it the best, but definitely my favorite, and it literally tanked in the box office because it came out at the same time as Avatar. And so it's just sad. I think there's a lot of creativity, a lot of originality in the theaters, but people are just not going to see it.
Yeah, Babylon was like literally a love letter to all people who love movies and everything.
That's right.
For those true cinephiles out there.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right.
That's why we appreciate the movie so much.
That's right. Yeah, we actually plan on doing a separate video where we're just discussing that idea, right? Like, why is it that people are complaining about the lack of originality and creativity in the theaters, in the new movies, when in reality, when they are there, which is not necessarily not frequent, they're tanking. It just means people aren't going to see these movies, right? And so we plan a video later on where we're going to discuss this because we feel it's a very important topic, just to see the current status of Hollywood in theaters and how the box office is working with and against the public's opinion. Now, do you have anything else to say on Saltburn?
No, I think I'm all good on that one, buddy.
Yep. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us. Saltburn, solid movie, 2 thumbs up from us. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. It is truly a wild and awesome ride. Weird ride, but hey, if you like that kind of thing, then this is right up your alley. But if you like videos like this, we try to bring you guys videos like this at least once a week. So please make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can join us on this journey. And if you like this video, the best way to let us know is by hitting that thumbs up button down there. And have you seen Saltburn? Have you not seen Saltburn? Do you plan on seeing Saltburn? Anything about it? Get at us in the comments. We want to know. We want to talk to you guys about anything and everything having to do with Saltburn. But with that being said, we'll see you guys soon. This is The Big Screen Show. Peace out.
Later.